Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Defense Radio, the podcast. I am your host, Josh Nahosa, and I'm an independent advisor representative for SWAN DFW, which stands for Sleep Well at Night, Dallas, Fort Worth. And I am here with the man who needs to start building an ark in his backyard. It is Hector and Josh.
Good morning, and my middle name is actually Noah, or in English, Noah. So, Ark, let's go get started.
Yeah. Hector is a certified financial planner, which is the top mark in our industry. He started Swan DFW in 2011. He moved to
2014.
Well, he's done it for 11 years.
That's right.
He has moved here in 1995.
That's right.
He started in the industry evidently in 1993.
Yes, sir.
So in a couple of years, he will have started in the industry in 1991.
Well, no.
And we'll just keep inching that back.
I was just thinking, 95 we moved up. So I've been in it for a long time.
Right. And today, we're talking about something we don't talk about a lot, and that is women in investing.
A very important topic.
This week, as we record this, Mother's Day is coming up. So as you're listening to this, it's either just about to happen or just happened, hopefully. Or I guess it could have happened 3 or 4 months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago.
Let's get ready to happen again.
Yeah. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But that is what we were talking about today. Hector is nice and festive in his pink shirt. That's to right. Embrace his feminine side. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
But first, we have a news story, and today's news story for us takes us to the far, far, far away lands of Northwest Dallas. A couple days ago, as we record this, a semi-truck carrying $800,000 worth of dimes rolled over, shut down the highway for 13 and a half hours during cleanup. There's a lot of very unhappy people.
Well, that's not true. In Dallas, people are so calm that when a road closes, they're calm, cool, collected, doesn't unnerve them at all, doesn't set them off for a bad day. They just roll with the punches. Then they take out a gun and shoot somebody. Right. No, I'm kidding. Can't imagine how bad that was.
Yeah, so they shut down the highway for a minute to, pick all the dimes up. And by a minute, I mean the entire day, essentially. They shut it down from... The truck rolled over at 5:30 a.m., and the highway was shut down till 7.
My.
The driver and passenger, we should say, were transported to a hospital, but the injuries were not life-threatening.
Yeah.
So.
But they paid their deductible in dimes. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I just thought that was
pretty funny. Pretty sad.
Kind of odd.
Yeah.
So, seamlessly, let's work our way back into women in investing.
Okay.
We have some stats to start off with. First, I guess the first question we should ask is, are women investing in the stock market? How many are? Is there a trend? What are we kind of looking at? Obviously, it's not every woman. It's not
every,
Yeah.
Statistically, it says that 60, and this is an article of U.S. News, August of 2024, says 67% of women are investing outside of their retirement accounts, up from 48%. So that's a pretty big jump. It's almost 50% in 2018. And so that's a really good sign, because what it says a couple of things. One, it says that obviously women are investing. That's a good thing, but they're investing outside of their 401ks or IRAs, and that's a good thing, because that means that they've got more spendable income, more money available to invest. So that's a good thing. So the trend here, though, is that they are investing money outside of their retirement accounts.
Yeah, and that seems to be growing year over year.
Yeah.
At least according to this study.
Right.
So we're trending in the right direction. What do you think is driving that change?
I think there's a move of financial firms finally realizing that women control more of the money than we ever thought. and that women are beginning to understand that they're outliving their husbands. And so they should have some knowledge and control over some of the money, family money that's invested. And I think, but most importantly, it's women seeing their moms and their grandmas sometimes really struggle because they had no knowledge of or no preparation for the events that happen after a husband passes or after a divorce. And, both of those things are tragic, but obviously moving into that chapter of your life when you've had some time to think about and prepare as best you can for it is better, or in the case of a divorce or after it, making sure that you're investing for yourself and your kiddos and stuff. So I think that's what's happened is women are just watching what their moms and grandmas did and said, it's going to be different with us. And they are teaching their daughters, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. What are some of the characteristics of women investors that are maybe different than their male counterparts?
Yeah. The first one that kind of jumped out was that, and something kind of that you would expect, is that women invest more conservatively than men. And you would do that. You would assume people do that when they're really not comfortable or don't feel like they know enough to make decisions about investments, and so they're more conservative than men. And that's kind of a red alert for us because we don't want women to be just in CDs and money markets. We want them to have a well-diversified portfolio that is outpacing inflation. But layered on top of that is some good news. Even though they're more conservatively invested than men, they're outperforming men. Their portfolios are outperforming men's portfolios. And that's surprising because now you have a more conservative investor making more money or having a higher return than their male counterparts. And so that's a good thing.
So why does that happen?
Well, logic would tell you that what's happening is that they're holding on to their investments, even in markets like we have right now. Instead of bailing out and trying to find something else, they're just kind of riding it out. And we know that when you give the market time, it'll come back to a higher value than it was when you started. And again, it's not guaranteed, and past history is no guarantee of future performance, but statistically, that seems to be what matters. Men, on the other hand, have a tendency to jump in and out of investments. They're more heavily invested in like a cryptocurrency. They will try to jump on the newest thing, and I think women are slower to move to those things. And because men jump in and out of their investments, they tend to have a lower rate of return because they usually sell at the wrong time and buy at the wrong time, and that really hampers their return. So good for women. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. There's a study from Wells Fargo that says women trade 27% less frequently than men do, that kind of back that up. So, they just kind of stick with their investments that they have.
Yeah.
Once they find something they like or they're comfortable with, why change it?
Why change it? Ask Warren Buffett. That's his deal. And I think men have the idea that activity means bigger return. Mm-hmm. And the stats just don't show that to be true.
The counterpart to that, maybe the not necessarily warning, but thing to think about would be you want to find something that you're comfortable with and stick with it, but you want to make sure that something is at least keeping up with inflation. You don't want to be comfortable with sticking it in a savings account or something that earns 3% a year.
That's a really, really important point. Whatever your investment mix is, make sure there's an investment mix. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if you're not real confident in how investing works, there's a lot of material out there. One of the things we try to do is every time we hear a really good question is we try to build a podcast around it. So when we hear that question again, we can send that podcast to people and say, hey, we talked about that. Here's 20 minutes on that topic alone. See if that makes sense. And then if it does, well, that's awesome. If it doesn't, call us back and we'll come to it another way. But
yeah. So, next question here. Why isn't there parity in investing? Obviously, men are more likely to invest their money both in a 401k and outside of that.
Yeah.
So, why is that?
And again, this is just speculation on my part, but I think we could agree that one, that seems to be like a men's thing. When men get together, we talk about, man, it's like gambling. We made a bunch of money on that stock. We'll never talk about the stock we lost a bunch of money.
Sure.
And so that's a deal. And I think women for a long time just kind of, it was expected the man would make all the financial decisions, and the trend is for more and more women taking control of the family money. And I think all that, when you add to that the fact that 86% of financial firms say that when they target a commercial or an ad or build a brochure, the target that they think is going to read that is a man. And I think so. I think the industry is beginning to catch on that women control more money than what they think, and so I'm hoping that there's more and more things like this dedicated just to talking to women about some of the big things that women face, that women think about way more than men. One of them is women are going to outlive men. The second thing is, if women outlive men, who's going to take care of me if I get sick? And that's why long-term care insurance is such a big part. And I think a lot of that comes from just watching their moms and their grandmas kind of go through without some planning and some of the struggles they had, or especially if a daughter has had to take care of their mom in their home, they want to make sure that their daughters don't ever have to do that. So they'll buy the insurance where they can be taken care of by professional people. So a little bit different financial planning for women. Not a lot, but some things, they seem much more important than men do.
So what would you, Hector and Josh, certified financial planner, been in the industry since 1993, say would be the next step for a woman listening to this?
Yeah. I think one, maybe reading a little something about, a book or some articles, or listening to even some of our podcasts, and there's a lot of podcasts out there, but two, finding a financial advisor, because we still think a financial advisor is the way to go. Statistics we quote all the time is when you work with an advisor, you end up with 15% net more money than not working with one. And then find one that you, one, like and trust, two, that's got a lot of experience. Maybe he's been in the business since, 1993, has an independent firm, is a fiduciary, and that simply means that fiduciary works to make sure that whatever is done for the best benefit of the client, that there's no conflicts of interest, and then a certified financial planner, and that just is the highest level of care that you can get from an advisor.
Yeah. So, if you would like to talk to somebody that fits all of those qualifications and also has a very notable YouTube podcast / Facebook podcast / Spotify podcast / on our website podcast, we have a couple different ways that you can talk to us. And the first way is via email address, and that's info@swandfw.net. That's info@swandfw.net. Or we have a phone number, and that is 888-792-6339 or 888-SWAN-DFW. All of those will be in the description wherever it is you are watching or listening. And I believe that's all we got for you guys.
That's all we got. And if you're listening to this before Mother's Day, have a beautiful and great Mother's Day.
Yep. And if you're listening to it after,
Hope
there's another one coming at some point.
Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.
Yep.
The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.